everyone. Welcome back to Palm Springs Edge TV, the show to watch in the desert for all your Coachella Valley entertainment, music, and more. I'm your host, Stella Gian, and after a brief hiatus, we're back in the studio for another jam-packed edition of Edge, featuring some of your favorite celebrities and events, but this time with a little twist. Edge is going green this new year. Now, you may well know that the Coachella Valley is one of the fastest growing areas in the world for the development of green and sustainable innovations. From the iconic wind turbines that greet visitors as they enter our valley to groundbreaking public policies, the Coachella Valley remains on the cusp of green technology and its many advancements. This week on Edge, we feature Carissa Farley, a leader in helping to create cities and parks in the Coachella Valley that are not only beautiful landmarks, but that are green as well. We also find ourselves in the middle of a Greenpeace protest in Rancho Mirage with some very interesting characters. And of course, we've still got your nightlife, so stay tuned as Edge brings you up close and personal to all that is music, entertainment, and green in the Coachella Valley.
Hi, I'm Jules Beeler. We are on our way to BB Ingles' 26th annual Masquerade Ball at the Esmeralda. We'll be saying goodbye to 2010 and hello to 2011. And we are riding in a luxurious excursion furnished by Club Hopper Restaurant Stopper. We'll get you the interviews, the who's who's. We're going to have a great time. We'll make sure you have a great time too. We are inside BB's 26th annual Masquerade Ball. We'll let you know what made 2010 so special and what's going to get 2011 rocking. Happy New Year's, everybody! And ladies, what are your New Year's resolutions?
A beautiful place, beautiful party, having a lot of fun, our first time here.
Happy New Year, guys. Palm Springs Edge, check it out. My name is Sean Puff Daddy Combs. I'm the White Puff Daddy.
Crammed into one building. What is your New Year's resolution for 2010?
Well, I'm just thinking about just keeping the parties, trying to go one step ahead. It's like art. You want to just do a masterpiece to do the better and better parties. So that's my goal for the next year, just keep the parties going.
Thank you, Esmeralda, for having us. We're having the best beginning of the year ever. And it's my birthday!
All right, so after 2010 is over, what do you think your fondest memory will be?
The Los Angeles Lakers winning the championship.
Most importantly, we need to thank Club Hopper Restaurant Stopper for a very safe and fun New Year's Eve.
My name is Glenn Mavis, and I'm the owner of the Club Hopper Restaurant Stopper. The Club Hopper Restaurant Stopper is a membership-based program to designated driver service. We start out $75 a month for a couple, $100 a month for 4 people. We pick you up from your home, take you out to the clubs, the restaurants. At the end of the night, we take you home, nice and safe, no DUI. Your first DUI could cost you about $10,000. You're going to lose your license. If you have a job that depends on your driver's license, you're going to lose your job. Your insurance rates go up. The Palm Springs area ranks 9th in the nation for DUI-related injuries and accidents, and it's number 1 in the state of California for cities of its size. So the Palm Springs area, it's a tourist area, so people come out here to have a good time. So there's a lot of drinking, but you shouldn't be driving. You call a designated driver service, and we'll take care of you, get you home nice and safe, no DUI.
Annenberg Theater is proud to present Jackson Garrett and Friends. live on April 17th at 7 p.m. Experience the legendary talents of Grammy Award-winning Gary Bias, saxophonist for Earth, Wind & Fire, and musicians Pat Rizzo, Marty Steele, Jeff Stover, Steve Madeo, and more. For ticket information and details, visit www.jacksongarrett.com or call 760-325-4490.
Hi, this is Carissa Farley of Farley Interlocking Paving, and I'm here with my very own green team to introduce you to some new ideas about alternative energy that could potentially change the way our city gets energy, or perhaps how the whole world gets energy. And I want to introduce you to my team, Greg Babington,
Energy Site Incorporated,
and Mary Herja,
Aurora Renewable Energy Solutions.
So let's go talk to Steve Vidal, a local inventor, and see what this is all about.
How is your thought process different than how we're currently solving those problems?
Our principle is not different from almost any other kind of technical principle of heat exchange. And that is, exchanging heat is far easier than generating heat. Being able to transport heat from point A to point B is always cheaper than being able to generate heat by burning a fossil fuel, for example.
Steve, can you see a time where potentially most of the homes here in the desert use this system for heating and cooling and saving natural resources and doing it?
Will our system, or an adaptation of that system, replace heating and cooling, or potentially? And the answer, without any doubt, in the desert is yes. Our ability to take the heat from a small greenhouse and put the heat into the ground by simply running the air through the ceiling, and after it runs through the ceiling, run it into rocks that we put in the ground, and the air will exchange the heat with the rocks in the ground, and it comes back up again and does it so that over a period of time, something like 8 months, the temperature out here never got below 68 degrees, no matter what the temperature was, because the ground temperature is at 75. So you're constantly doing this exchange. It is an absolute natural for the desert. What we're hoping to do is to show that a large scale heating and cooling can be done with nothing more than heat exchanging.
What other industries can you see this being used for?
Well, what you're looking at is inexpensive energy in the form of heat. Heat is the basic default form of all of energy. All right. So once you get it down to the heat, what can you use it for? And the answer is, can you make electricity if you have a hot flame from a butane torch? Yes, you can. So the applications are probably unlimited.
Thanks, Carissa, Greg, and Mary. We'll check back in a little later. But for now, let's go to an event in Rancho Mirage that our Edge TV cameras caught literally by accident. For those of you who are unaware, Greenpeace recently hosted an event near the Rancho Las Palmas Resort in Rancho Mirage, where they and 2,000 of their friends protested what they called a, quote, secret strategy meeting of billionaires to block clean air and energy policies. Well, Edge took a look at both sides and is leaving it up to our viewers to decide where they stand on this heated debate. Stay tuned.
A lot of folks here are because the Koch brothers have been funneling enormous amounts of money into climate science denial, repealing healthcare bill, and funneling enormous amounts of money into the political system and funding right-wing candidates. And so the folks here are from the environmental movement, from the California Nurses Association, from progressive groups who don't feel that the billionaire few should be taking away the rights of the larger working groups.
All those people yelling at me and saying I don't belong here. Well, I'm for capitalism. There are things that we really should be doing, but to think that an ideology is going to jump in and take control of our youth mind and try to rob capitalism of what we are, well, that's why I'm here, because I don't want that kind of green control.
About green control. So green control, environmental regulations are incredibly important. this rally is about raising awareness for the Koch brothers and their agenda. And Koch Industries has long lobbied to prevent formaldehyde being classified as a carcinogen, which it is. And that would, if the EPA listed formaldehyde as a carcinogen, that would definitely be qualified as green control. And
Some of these things can definitely, like I say, some of these things are really smart things to do. But ideologically, to try to control us, if you want to know what real control is, go to the Palm Springs Library, or even, and it's called Life and Debt, and it's DEBT, and it's what has happened in Jamaica. They've become very socialist. It would be very beneficial for you, young man. I would not wish it on you, but to go to Jamaica, where they faulted on their debt, unfortunately, and the World Bank.
I truly believe in the concept of climate change and global warming. We're seeing it already. We're seeing increases in sea levels throughout the world. This is going to be a huge problem 20, 30 years from now. People are going to be displaced by this.
So our story goes back to March 2010 when we released this report on Koch Industries called Koch Industries Secretly Funding the Climate Denial Machine.
I created, as a conservative, the Huffington Post so that the left could have more voices out there. It wouldn't dawn on me to protest MSNBC.
There's an obvious conflict of interest for billionaires that run an oil company to say climate change does not exist.
When these people start acting like Ed Begley, I'll take them seriously.
They'll pick and choose scientific data selectively to say things like global warming stopped in 1998, which is completely untrue. If you look at the data over a long period of time, it's an obvious exponential curve, and it's rather alarming. It's miraculously insidious.
I don't necessarily accept the premise that it's a green movement. I believe that it's a movement to undermine Western capitalism, and that selling young people on the virtues of the environment. Who could be against the environment? I have 4 kids. Who could be against clean water? Hollywood propagates the mythology of cataclysmic climate change, movie after movie after movie, and they start it at kindergarten. Of course the kid's going to graduate from 6th grade saying, Mommy, the world's going to end.
The Arctic, the home of polar bears like myself, is really on the front lines of global warming. A few years ago, Arctic ice reduced to a level that scientists were not predicting would happen until mid-century. So if you want to see the effects of global warming, look at the Arctic, look what's happening to polar bears. And the Koch brothers are part of the climate denial machine. They've put millions of dollars into misinformation, suppressing the science, and also attempting to roll back California's global warming law, which is a necessary step towards addressing the climate crisis.
So what do you say to people who say this is just another big conspiracy theory?
I would say look at the numbers. This is what's actually happening in this country. That's where the money is going, and those are the people who are getting elected now.
So Steve, my name is Mary Hurya, and I'm with Aurora Renewable Energy Solutions. I know that combining technologies is where to go. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this, that wind energy is an energy source. Solar energy is an energy source. Geothermal energy is an energy source. Okay, so unfortunately is the burning of fossil fuel, but we don't like the fossil as a source. So what we're proposing, whatever the source is, if it's adequate, it is going to be probably more economically feasible if that source can be stored. The wind doesn't always blow at the same pace, even though it always blows. I've been someplace in Montana where it doesn't ever seem to stop blowing. But anyway, can wind energy be used to store energy for our system? And the answer is, of course it can. We could use a solar collector, a photovoltaic solar collector, in order to compress air. When we take compressed air and you put it into a vortex tube, you're going to come out, there is no energy or virtually no loss. You're going to come out with 50-degree higher air on the hot side and 50-degree lower on the cold side. The wind, and that can do that all day long. Anytime the wind is blowing, it's not lost. Okay. You want heat? Yes. We'll take the heat over here and put it into heat storage. You want cold? Yeah. So you can come out, let's say you got 70-degree air, that's your 70-degree compressed air. All right. On this side, it'll come out at 120, and this side, it'll come out at 20 degrees. Now, you run that into the rocks and you got storage.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm so happy to meet you.
This Thermofer device of Steve Vidal, this space is a mock-up of a habitable space. Could be a home or an office space. It's insulated, but it's actually an active part of the whole collection process for heating and cooling. In the roof here, this insulated roof has a air space of approximately 8 to 10 inches, and it circulates through a low speed, could be a DC or a PV powered fan that takes the hot air from that space through the building walls and down underground into the graded aggregate storage medium below our feet here. And if this were an outdoor space, these paving stones here are permeable, which would allow the exchange of air or water moisture as a heat and cooling medium to dissipate the heat or collect the cooling for whatever seasonal use you're after. What we gotta see here, that's the most important thing, is it's approximately 85 degrees outside today, and this thermometer shows that it's about a comfortable 72 degrees indoors here. And we even have the door open. So the beauty of this device is having heavily insulated walls, having a mechanism by which to exchange either the heat or the cold, depending upon what you're trying to collect, can give you additional comfort in your building and maybe even overtake your conventional HVAC systems at some point in the future.
Palm Springs Piercing Company and Cathedral City's Tattoo Gallery are teaming up to provide the Coachella Valley with all its artistic and creative needs. Quality artwork and jewelry, technical and creative skill, and a combined industry experience of over 40 years guarantees your body art experience will be both memorable and positive.
Palm Springs Piercing Company and the Tattoo Gallery, where technical skill and quality meet creativity and expression.
Hello and welcome to Christian Home and Fine Art. I'm Christian and I'm inviting you to a very fun evening tonight. We have the German artist Heiner Meyer, who came all the way from Germany for our fabulous New Year's reception. So come on and follow me.
I'm standing here with Heiner Meyer, the artist of the evening. Heiner, you made it all the way here from Germany, I hear.
Yes.
Short flight?
Very nice to be here. I'm coming yesterday.
I want to talk about a little bit of your art. It's just beautiful work. Now, this kind of reminds me of like a 50s style pinup.
The girl comes from Vargas. He's a very famous man in the 40s and 50s of illustration of pinups. And he has a phone, and in the background is a piece of art. It's the highest prize sculpture from Jeff Koons. And so she says, "Hello, Jeff."
Okay, I see. Well, Heiner, it's a pleasure talking with you, and good luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Udo, I am a huge fan of yours. Is there a #1 film that you would say was your best work, or that
internet knows more about me sorry, than I do, and I made 200 films. And I think you like the films which people appreciated, like Blade or Armageddon or End of Days, or like my favorite were Dracula and Frankenstein by Andy Warhol, because they were improvised and not commercial. I collect art since 40 years ago, so I have Man Ray, Magritte, Giacometti, and I'm not buying or collecting art to put it away. What I buy, I hang up my walls because I want to live with it.
Basti M is one of the best house DJs in Germany, and he has flown here tonight not only with his father to come check out the art gallery, but he's going to be spinning at Club Stir tonight. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's totally right. I'm really looking forward, and I'm very excited. It's my first time in the States, and big thanks to Christian to give me the possibility to play at the after party at Stir. And I hope it will be a great party.
Great. What is it like, just the different lifestyles between you and your father? You know, he's into the contemporary art, and you're out at night DJing.
Yeah. We both are artists, and totally different scene. But
both artists in your own way.
Yeah, of course.
That's great. That's really
right.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Well, I look forward to hearing you spin tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. All right, well, it's again, pleasure to meet you, Basti.
Yes,
Basti M, house DJ from Germany, here in Palm Desert.
What a great event. Christian Holman is always full of surprises. Now, let's check back in with Carissa Farley, whose progress towards developing a clean filtration system for runoff and wastewater has landed her in high-profile magazines such as Palm Springs Life, Desert Home and Garden, and more.
Hi, I'm Carissa Farley from Farley Interlocking Paving, and we are interlocking paving contractors who work throughout Southern California but are based in Palm Desert, locally in Palm Desert. Interlocking paving stones, for anybody who doesn't know, are segmental units, individual units that are hand-placed or machine-placed in sand. We also specialize in an engineered process, as opposed to architectural, that is designed for stormwater management and is a LEED certified green technology. Imagine a bathtub that you turned on the water and the hardscape, the water flowed right through the hardscape. Basically, that's how this works. So imagine a commercial building that captures stormwater on site, and instead of allowing the water to run off polluted, dirty, into either surrounding waterways or into the stormwater management system, this basically opens the earth and allows the water to go back into the ground on site right there at the commercial building and purifies it while it goes through an infiltration trench and then recharges the aquifer. Not only is it about being a good citizen and recharging our aquifer with clean water and being conscious of our water use, it also is something that in this economy could save builders quite a bit of money. In this diagram, when you have stormwater, 70% of it infiltrates through the ground, is filtered and put back into the aquifer or the groundwater. 10% of that evaporates up into the air, and only about 20% runs off into your water reservoirs, your streams, your lakes, or into your stormwater system. On the right-hand side, this shows a developed parcel of land. We've got houses and buildings, and a majority of the hardscapes, the earth is basically sealed up with concrete and asphalt. In that kind of scenario, maybe only 20% of the water can get through undeveloped, like planters and green areas, into the ground and recharging. 10% will still evaporate up into the air, but in this situation, 70% runs off. And the problem when it runs off is it collects oil, it collects pollutants, it collects pesticides, and that runoff water becomes polluted, dirty, and is either put into your stormwater system where it has to be treated or pollutes rivers and streams. This is a huge issue when you get close to the beach areas where traditionally stormwater is dumped into the ocean, and now we're starting to see the ramifications of that in our polluted water reserves, in our lakes, in our rivers, in our oceans. So permeable pavers are really important there. There are even advanced uses. For instance, the Vatican puts an ingredient in the concrete that's used in the paver that takes air pollutants out of the air. The city of La Quinta was very progressive in being one of the first cities to have this. The city of Palm Desert is following right behind. The Living Desert actually has had this system in for 15 years, but it was way ahead of its time. We're really proud to be in the Coachella Valley, where a municipality like La Quinta is on the cutting edge of green technology.
Well, guys, that brings us to the end of another great episode of Edge TV. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Farley Interlocking Paving Stones, KCLB 93.7, PalmSpringsLiveEvent.com, BB Ingle, Club Hopper Restaurant Stopper, the Tattoo Gallery, and Palm Springs Piercing Company. Don't forget to visit us on our Facebook page and check out past shows at PalmSpringsLiveEvents.com. And if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring the show, contact us online at info@PalmSpringsEdgeTV.com. I'm your host, Stella Gian. See you next time.